All right, what's going on, vintage gamers? Come join me for a little experiment. We're gonna play some red-green initiative, red-green stompy in vintage today. I've taken a list that I saw from Legacy and also a vintage list that I saw from the Japanese player No Props, and I am gonna try running it through a league with some changes. The only thing I really changed was let me pull up. Do I still have it? Yeah. Yes. So I have this list, which No Props played in a paper event. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change these wastelands into Cavern. I think Cavern is pretty key in resolving your Magus and Collector Oof, which I think are pillars of this deck. And then I'm not going to play the Mental Misstep, but I am going to play... What am I going to play? I remember there was a change. Oh, I trimmed it once upon a time in a Mental Misstep. And I'm not going to play Leah as a 3-drop. I'm going to play a bunch more of these 4-drops. So I'm going to play 3. I don't know which of these cards are good, to be honest with you, between Minsc and Undermountain and Caves. It's possible that, you know, you want 4 Caves and you want 4 Minsc and you want no Undermountain or some Undermountain. Undermountain, it obviously helps up this green count. But what we'll do is we'll run 3 of each of these for a league, try to figure out what's going on. The other thing I noticed was that... I noticed that No Props wasn't playing any Fable, and I think that's a huge mistake. I think Fable is unbelievably good in this style of deck because what it does is it converts extra mana into new cards, and that's something that typically red-green Stompy style decks don't ever have access to. Not only does it do that, but it also makes treasure tokens, which fix your mana, which I think the mana in this deck should be fairly bad, just because you do play this card, which makes red-green cost, but we'll see as we go. We have Furies in the sideboard for creature decks, 7 cards for Bazaar, and then we have some Pyroblast for combo. It might be nice with Pyroblast here because you have Simian Spirit Guide to play a pseudo Forcible, which could be pretty powerful. So we'll try this league. I'm not remotely saying that these are the right numbers for these cards, but we're gonna try these numbers first, and then at the end of the video we'll see what we would want to do, what we want to trade out, and what are the correct numbers to play. So. Vintage League, Stompy, let's go. If you'd like to see your deck played on this channel, check out the Patreon link in the description below where you can find all the information you need to submit a donation deck list. Let's battle. All right, here we go. First match of the league, we got Micrograms. Let's see what we can open with here. We can open with 3-ball. I can appreciate a nice open with 3-ball. There's also something to be said about opening with Undermountain, but this has a very high immediate win the game percentage, so we're definitely going to do that. Can't play around Mindberry Trap, but if we want to play our Black Lotus, which I think we could play around Mindberry Trap, right? We could go Mana Crypt, Mountain, Trinisphere, and then on the next turn we can pay... We don't even have to play Black Lotus, per se. So maybe we should. Maybe we should. Uh-oh. Why do I have an alarm set? That can't be good. Am I missing something? Oh, I think this is a nap alarm. All right, my opponent has mulligan to 5 cards currently. Yeah, I actually think I like the idea of Mana Crypt, Mountain, Trinisphere. Obviously, the Lotus becomes kind of bad, but then we can just go like Cavern Warrior, Undermountain, so... Yeah. Mana Crypt, Mountain, Trinisphere. What say you, opponent? Nothing. All right. 5-card hand, no force. Could be on Workshop. Nope, Flooded Strand. All right. I feel like we are in a great spot then. I have not looked at the creature types here. I don't believe I think we have Oof, and we have Human Barbarian, and we have Human Wizard, and we have Giant Warrior, Ape Spirit, and Elf Spirit. Good Cavern of Souls deck. But again, I actually don't think that matters very much, especially when you play an initiative creature that fix your colors of mana for you. So we are just going to play. I guess it doesn't matter. We could technically play Taiga. Sure, let's just play Taiga instead. Maybe if we can't, we'll be able to not show them Cavern. It might be a worthwhile piece of information to hide. Could absolutely be a worthwhile piece of information to hide. All right, everybody's favorite initiative has been undertaken. We have entered the Undercity. I'm going to go grab one of them snow-covered forests. And your move, opponent. Got a land drop. They're going to need 3 straight land drops to play the game. I guess that's not technically true because they could have second land drop beside you. Kind of a nice change in recent Magic is that is an answer to a Trinisphere. Though they will be pretty far behind by that point. Let's see what we would have drawn. Fable. Oh, awesome Magic card here. Look how good Fable is here. Play Fable. Next turn, pitch 2 lands, get some action. All right, well, Trinisphere does the Trinispheering. That's a good start. We don't know what opponent's on besides Flooded Strand, but I think we can at least play some amount of Pyroblast. I think on the draw, I'll take out this Chalice. And it's tough to say because we just don't know what opponent's playing, right? Let's take out the Chalice and the Trinisphere and bring in 2 Pyroblasts, and then in game 3 we can tweak those based on what we see. Here we have Lotus. Yeah, this looks fine. All right, Probe is occurring. I think we'll Once Upon a Time in response. My opponent will always know what we get off this Once Upon a Time anyways. Yeah, Forest looks fine. All right, so you get to see our hand. Unfortunately, this Black Lotus doesn't cast both Fable and Collector Roof. That would be pretty nice. I like our hand, though. I think like this is a powerful draw. All right. Oh, they're actually on Doomsday. A deck I actually haven't seen a lot of lately. Vigor terrible in this matchup. But Collector Roof's still okay. This matchup is probably not great for us, if I had to guess. I think the answer here is Collector Oof Once Upon a Time? What if we just go once? What if we lead Once Upon a Time? Man, I could get dazed if I don't play my land drop. All right, I'm gonna lead Once Upon a Time. Well, no, there's no green card I can get with Once Upon a Time. Okay, well. Okay. Am I dead? Not dead. We're definitely slamming an oof. And then we might need to like Once Upon a Time for a red source. We haven't particularly drawn cards that are helping us to victory here. Doomsday. Okay, they can easily win on the pass the turn pile. They can't win here on a even if they had like Gush, they would have to have like a Snuff Out or something. The problem is, like, what can I feasibly draw here that will help me? I guess I could technically draw a Pyroblast and then Once Upon a Time and hit a mountain. That could be good. But I mean, this is we're definitely gonna do some changes post board here where we're gonna bring in we're gonna bring the Chalice and the Trinisphere back in, and we're gonna bring in Endurance and Pyroblast. So we have a bunch of cards to change out. I didn't really expect Doomsday, but Doomsday, for those wondering, technically the second strongest deck in Vintage post initiative, with the second highest win rate with over a large metagame share. One of the top 5 decks played, one of the top 5 most played decks, and the second highest win rate. Number 1, of course, is GRUUL. Combo GRUUL Shops. That is also one of the top 5 most played decks and the highest win rate. reminds me, I gotta make those sheets. I might be able to do that while my opponent makes a Doomsday pile. I assume their Doomsday pile and just involves Ancestral Oracle, and that just does it, right? They only have one Oracle. So maybe they make like they could theoretically, I don't know. I'm really bad at Doomsday, so I try not to I try not to sound too silly when I make a Doomsday pile here. But the one thing they just don't have to do, they can't do, is they probably can't put in fast mana. At this point, they don't really need fast mana because they have, you know, Gush. I assume like Gush is probably their best card. Oh, there's a cut down in the deck. I see a cut down. All right, so like I said, I think my best draw is Pyroblast into Once Upon a Time Red Source. I can tell you that another Force of Vigor is not going to do it. Oh, I had Maguses in my deck. Holy crap, that would have been really strong. If I had drawn Magus and... I mean, I would never be able to play Magus, right? I mean, there's no way we ever get another turn, but... I don't really want to show them any of this. I kind of think I'm going to concede. And the reason is I think I get more. They have put in multiple Mind Break traps. Interesting. I think I get more value holding the Magus Cavern closer to my chest here. I'm just gonna concede. I don't think it's possible for me to ever get another turn here, and so I think it's worth it. So what I'm gonna do is bring in those cards I said I was gonna bring in, and then we have to choose what we want to board out. I mean, the biggest answer is these 4 Force of Vigors are garbage. Collector Roof is not amazing, but it's not bad. I think Undercity is probably worse. The next worst card here. I mean, Magus is actually quite good against my opponent's deck. Very hard for them to beat Magus. So if we can do like Cavern Magus, that would be pretty solid too. Here is Magus with no Cavern. Yeah, it's probably still a keep. Like, we have better hands than this. But... just, I mean, I would really love being able to Cavern a Magus. We have Chalice hands, Trinisphere hands, Cavern hands. But this is probably one of our better plays. I can't imagine I'm allowed to mulligan this hand. Like I said, a Resolve Magus is quite hard for my opponent to beat. They can beat it, obviously, but it's quite hard. Ooh. The cool thing here is actually only the second spell, so I don't get Mind Break trapped. Cycle Street Wraith. Forces? No forces. All right, so we have a Resolve Magus. We'll see if they have any Moxen. Nope. That's a mountain. Might be quite hard for my opponent to deal with. I do need a basic forest to cast, or another Elvish Spirit Guide, or a Lotus or something to cast this. I guess that is pretty problematic. Another mountain. I mean, there are absolutely games against Doomsday where this Magus goes the whole distance. Endurance. That's at least something. This is the big thing I was super worried about with the Minsc, for sure. I think this is like another convincing reason to play more caves than Undercities as well. Pyroblast is definitely a live draw, which is nice, though my opponent doesn't have Yeah, like for my opponent, what they're looking for is Jet or Lotus to cast a cut down. They can also have. I actually think I'm gonna hold this until I can Pyroblast. They can also have just like Islet. Well, it's mostly it. Maybe I do just want to jam this Trinisphere. Trying to figure out like what I could care about. I mean, I can't hit a Gush. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna play this Trinisphere. I don't really see like. I guess the upside is if I draw another mountain, then I can hold Pyroblast up. I'm just worried this might actually harm me more than it harms my opponent at this point in the game, but yeah, so like now I actually would have been able to hold Pyroblast when I cast it. Yeah. I mean, this Magus is as good as advertised, so. Ooh, wow, Forest. Does that win the game on the spot? See, this is what I'm talking about. This Trinisphere actually is hurting me here because I can't hold open Pyroblast. That's super sad. Because now they can force this, and I can't Pyroblast back up. I got rid of Ancestral Negation, though. So this next turn, the Minsc is lethal, so that's nice. Yeah, I'm wondering about this Trinisphere. It's good for me if my opponent draws like exactly Jet and like has cut down Jet. But now they're tapped out, so now they're dead. So this card's really powerful too. All right, let's take it. A win against Doomsday. Okay, we go again. This one doesn't play turn 1 Magus. Doesn't play turn 1 anything, which I think is kind of illegal for our deck. Our deck should probably be playing turn 1 something. So I'm going to mulligan this hand and look for something that has a turn 1 something. So I have one piece of fast mana and a Once Upon a Time. I can hit a Collector Oof. That's probably acceptable. I did not hit that. I did hit Ancient Tomb. I guess I'll play out a Lotus Petal. Hmm. So, so far, I feel like Caves for an Undermountain is a pretty easy swap. Ooh. Black Lotus, Tropical Island. Red mana, Renin 6? Minsc. Yeah, that's got to be really good here. So my best draw is now Minsc. I'm gonna get murdered here. They can attack me, steal the initiative, and then fling the hamster and kill my Undercity. It's quite good. Yeah, I mean, I'm not winning this. There's no shot here. We are super dead to Black Lotus Minsc here. Minsc. I keep saying Minsc. I don't know why. Minsc? I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, I can't pronounce things. It has not changed. I am actually just dead to this. I have no counterplay. So if my opponent sacks and deals and draws 4 and draws 4 dead cards. Oh no, I played this instead of yeah, okay. Let me just get out of this game. I can't actually beat this. So what? Still a rock star. Don't really think I want Chalice here. I don't think I want Vigor here, and I feel like I want some combination of Furies and Pyroblasts. And I actually think I just want like all Furies and Pyroblasts because my opponent's likely playing God, I guess they can technically be playing Oath. Do I like keeping some Vigors in case they are on Oath? I feel like the answer to that question has to be no. Maybe we just keep in this Chalice on the play. If my opponent is on Oath, I feel like we just take the L. And I don't really want to have Vigors in my deck just for Oath. But we don't know if our opponent's on like 4-color walkers or if they're on Oath or not. So, and it doesn't really help us to play that game out. I don't think my opponent has to show us anything more. Like they can play fetch land path with a bunch of forces up, and it just doesn't really get us there. Maybe I could wait, but I didn't really want to. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna find out if our opponent is on control or Oath. This hand just has all payoffs, but no fast mana really. This doesn't find Moxen. Does find Spirit Guides for what it's worth. So technically, we could find a red or a green Spirit Guide and play either Magus or Fable. I guess it's just a red, so it has to be red. If it was red or green that we could cast something with, I probably would keep this. But just red, I feel like the likelihood is low, right? 5 out of 53 with 4 hits. It's like less than half, so let's mulligan. This one looks better. I don't have the Cavern, but I do have turn 1 Magus, turn 2 Magus, so... and I think depending on my opponent's deck, Magus is actually going to be quite good as well. If they are like a lightning bolt, then obviously it gets worse, but if they counter this, I get to untap and go Cavern. Oh, they did not counter it. Cool. All right, what do you got for us? I mean, they can obviously have Moxen, which will help fix their mana here. But if they don't have Moxen, they'll be kind of locked out, just like our Doomsday opponent. There just like are not that many basics in Vintage. There are some, obviously. You like to play one island in these kind of decks, but I'll use these blue decks. Yeah, we're gonna play this out, even though it's a mountain right now. We need to start progressing. Obviously, Lightning Bolt here is a bad outcome. A Braid is a bad outcome, but if they don't find those, then certainly things are looking okay. Spirit Guide. Would we rather Spirit Guide a Once Upon a Time or just get another Magus going? I think the answer is Magus. There's certainly some upsides to Spirit Guiding a Once Upon a Time and trying to find like a basic forest, but this is a dismember. Oh no. What just happened? I thought I saw that go down an additional 2, but maybe I was imagining things. Dismember is obviously something they could have. But I feel like we're in a pretty solid spot. Minsc doesn't do... Pitches to Fury. So, like, the worst possible outcome from here is probably something like Emerald or Lotus into Oath. But we still don't know what they're on exactly. Because just Lightning Bolt no longer does it. They could technically have a sweeper, like a Pyroclasm or a Brotherhood's End or Fire Spout. I don't know if Fire Spout, if red is the land or the flying one, but Emerald, wow. That's a hell of a draw from my side of the table. Like, crazy good draw from my side of the table. Emerald. Yeah, sure, why not? All right, so we still don't know what kind of deck our opponent is on here. What we will do is on the draw, we'll take out Chalice and Trinisphere, and what I think I'm gonna hedge a little bit and just put 2 Vigors in our deck, just so we have that kind of counterplay to an Oath of Druids. Because it's impossible for us to know if my opponent, based on the cards my opponent has played so far, if they were which deck they were on. So here we have Force of Will in the form of Spirit Guide Pyroblast for blue cards that they can play, and then we also have either turn 1 Fable or maybe turn 2 Uncounterable Undermountain. I like this hand. Deathray Shaman? All right, so they're not on Oath. That's good. We did put 2 dead cards in our deck, but I feel like we're pretty happy. I would love to see... Hmm. I think we'll take a second Spirit Guide so that we have Pyroblast up still, and we'll play turn 1 Fable and try to play turn 2 Mountaineer. Mountaineer. Mountain Adventure. Mountaineer? Sure, why not? See how good this Fable looks. Opponent did mulligan to 5, so I feel like we have a pretty strong advantage here playing Fable into Deathray Shaman. I feel like this is a nice Twitter opportunity. Tabernacle. It's kind of an interesting one. It's definitely going to slow us down. I don't know how I feel about boarding in Tabernacle here. It's something, though. I'm going to take the 2 and pay for... Ooh, what if I pay via Spirit Guide? Aww. If I pay via Spirit Guide and then I get an attack, I can play an Undermountain. Kind of think that's good, actually. Wow, that's also interesting. I'm going to discard a Taiga. Just a Taiga. Spirit Guide. So the oh, I should never have discarded a Taiga. That was increasingly silly, wasn't it? I'm bad at this game, aren't I? It gives them a Deathray Shaman. I think I'd rather play Cavern and to play an Undermountain. I should not have discarded Taiga. That was horrendous. Horrendously bad play. But I don't think it'll matter too much. Let's go get a mountain. I guess they could technically have Dismember into attack, steal the initiative. Would be pretty reasonable. They can play a 2-drop here, which is quite annoying. Oh, they're just off it. Yeah. Yeah, we'll take those. Okay, so far a lot of free wins, which this deck definitely can produce, but won't always produce. Here we have Strip Mine, Chalice, Vigor. I'm actually pretty okay with the idea of keeping this one. It covers a lot of bases. The vigor gets worse if the chalice doesn't resolve. Or sorry, if the chalice does resolve, but if the chalice doesn't resolve, the vigor gets better. And the strip mine should cover us from a bunch of other angles. All we're missing is one red source to play, like, I guess we can't draw any of our 0 drops anymore, but like even Taiga or especially Spirit Guide are quite strong draws. So Wooded Foothills, huh? Interesting. Is this ancestral? Tropical ancestral? Yeah, that's definitely a reason for us to run Mental Misstep for what it's worth. Do I want to run... I think strip mining here after my opponent has cast ancestral does not seem like the play. I'm just gonna go... Maybe it's better for me to play my strip mine out. Then I'm exposing myself to like a wasteland or something though. I think I'm just gonna end of turn out Once Upon a Time. Try to find a red source and slam a mag. I got strip mined anyways. Okay. Basics. What are they? Basics. How do they work? Okay. Okay. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Flusterstorm. Cash in that value. Don't leave it behind. Oh, just forcing it. Spell Queller. Yo, Crazy is always willing to do some experimenting. We got Tropical Island Spell Queller has been called here. And Ponder. All right. I mean, we are super far behind in this game. Like, want to strip my opponent, but it feels pretty illegal. After they've drawn Ancestral Ponder. Maybe if they shuffle this. If they shuffle this, I'm more incentivized. They did not shuffle. Yeah. I think strip mining here would be not applicable. Or not applicable. I mean, it's just too bad. Bayou. Wait, so we have Tropical Island Bayou Spell Queller? Opponent is deep in the wilderness here. Collector, oof. All right, baby, I need that land. Okay, all right, okay. Good draw. Any Magi? Magi? No. Magi. Why is he Magi? Flusterstorm was pitched. I'm surprised. I wonder if they drew Flusterstorm afterwards, but Flusterstorming the Once Upon a Time seemed like big game. Maybe they just didn't have it. All right. I mean, they only have 4 cards left in hand. I feel like our cards are a bit on the stronger side here. I can't imagine they have a basic island in their deck if they have a Spell Queller, right? I think I'm gonna just play one more Magus, and then before I think my opponent probably has more answers. I don't want to get the boo countered here. Here's force pitching Brainstorm. That seems like they're probably out of answers now. Brainstorm is incredible right now with this polluted delta, so I can't imagine they have a. I can't imagine they have more things. This is a Tundra. So Tundra Bayou Tropical Hull Breacher. God, imagine if they just wheel me, deal me. So this is Bant, but it's not the Luris version. So they can play Hull Breacher, which is kind of a nice one. All right, I mean, if they don't have a negation, I wish I could cavern on this legendary Planeswalker here. I think the answer is going to be cavern on human. And then red, green, this thing, boo. Okay. We're just gonna plus on the boo here. So sacrifice a creature when you do deals X damage to any target. If a sacrifice creature can draw cards. Why do I feel like I don't draw cards if I kill the Hull Reacher? Is that the bad way or the good way? Oh, I can't remember. It's like Teferi, right? Is it not like Teferi? Is it? It's either because I think the draw cards is all together, right? Whereas with Teferi, it's separated by a period. This one is also separated by a period. Gonna have to think about it. If you would draw, I don't think we draw. I think we give our opponent treasures. If I had to guess, that's how it works with Spirit of the Labyrinth. Let me just ask crazy. Mountain. So I don't think I draw, so I don't really like the idea. All right, I'm just gonna go counters. I should have probably stripped mine. I'm just gonna attack because I am now winning the race with one more attack here. And then I'm gonna play a Spirit Guide to protect my my thing. I think I'm supposed to hit the Tundra in case they play like Swords of Plowshares. They might have more Tundras, I assume. They do have Spell Quellers, so. All right. This card is just extremely powerful. So me playing only 3 copies of it looks a wee bit sus. The good news is I think this matchup has to be great for us. I can't imagine that these cards are anything other than amazing. Furies, Endurances, Pyroblast even. I don't know how many of all these things, but definitely Trinisphere, Chalice, Vigor are all out. So we're going to have plenty of cards to board out. I also think we're going to board out all of our Collector Oofs, as our opponent has presented that they are also a Collector Oof deck. Which is really actually almost a really nice mapping. Pretty impressive mapping. I like that a lot. I'll just take one of these Once Upon a Times out and just leave us with full value, right? Let's battle. This has got to be a nice matchup for us. We have all the kinds of these, very modern legacy style answers to play when our opponent is on kind of one of those decks that is like very targeted at beating vintage decks. It's here to beat artifact decks. It's here to beat jewel shops with its hull breachers and its collector roofs, but it's not here to beat Fury. And Fury is a hell of a magic card, just not typically a hell of a magic card in vintage. All right, so what do we have? What do we have? We have a Fury, and we have 2 Spirit Guides. Probably bad hand, I would think. Let's try mulliganing. This hand is... I kind of want to keep it. Am I stupid here? I might be stupid here. Any land drop lets me play turn 1 Caves, and a no land drop lets me play Magus. I could even, if I draw a land drop, play Magus with Pyroblast. If I draw an Ancient Tomb, I can play Caves with Pyroblast. This might be dumb. This might be one of my worst plays I've ever made. But, I don't know. It feels right. Is that a good analysis? Is this good gameplay? If you made it to this point in the video and were astonished I kept this hand and want to call me an idiot, you are now allowed to do that. Good luck, YouTube commenters. Okay, Emerald. I'm jealous. Pass. Strip mine. All right. So the question becomes, is it better to play Magus with Pyroblast backup or Caves with no Pyroblast backup? Um, man, I don't know. I think I'm willing to get this dazed if they have like a daze or something. Man, I just don't know. I feel like the answer is just jam caves. Woo, it's a resolver? Wow. All right, we're gonna get a basic mountain. All right. Let's see if they have like Swords to Plowshares, maybe. Swords to Plowshares, untap, play a 3-drop kind of deal. So we saw a Bayou in game 1 from our opponent's Spell Queller deck, which makes me believe we're playing against a Deathrite Shaman deck. So my assumption is my opponent is actually playing a Bant Deathrite Shaman deck and just has a Bayou to activate Deathrite Shaman. So I'm thinking 4 Deathrite Shaman, 4 Collector Oof, 4 Hold Breacher, something like that. Probably some number of Swords to Plowshares, I would think. So if we draw a piece of fast mana, we can jam a Magus here. And Magus isn't unbelievable because they do have an Emerald, but it's still quite good here. I can't imagine they have very many basics in their deck. If anything, it's just an island. Here comes Oko, maybe? True Name Nemesis. Wow. True Name Nemesis has been called. All right. Well, this is a really good forge because the True Name Nemesis is not really stopping this caves here. So caves lets us exile the top card and we can play it. Yeah. So this is actually going to deal a bunch of trample over damage. Yeah, wow, caves is amazing. All right, so we learned oh, we hit mana crypt. Is this real life? We actually hit mana crypt? That's just nuts. I don't actually think hitting a land with a strip mine here matters, so. All right. So far, I mean, this is just an absurd magic card, huh? Wow. Okay. Caves. Caves. Yeah. So like I'm thinking +1 caves, +1 boo, cut 2 under mountains. Maybe we trim somewhere else to get a second under mountain in and play 2 under mountains, but opponent is not happy with their deck currently. I mean, if my opponent just has a force of will, we lose this game pretty heavily, right? But so far, my opponents have just not had it. So yeah, all right. All right, I'm going to end the video. Opponent and I are just chatting about the paper RCQ I'm going to play tomorrow. Hopefully that'll go well, but no challenge tomorrow. It'll be a quick departure from the norm. So you guys you can chomp this up as a W. And we will see you for round 4. All right, another die roll has gone the way of the, I don't know, Cool Kids Club, something. Here, I have not enough mana to do fun and extraordinary magic things, so let's mulligan. Here, I do not have enough mana to play anything on turn 1 besides Chalice, but I'm gonna keep this hand, and I think I'm actually going to do a little bit of a departure of the norm here, and I'm gonna go. Man, so I can go Ancient Tomb Chalice 1 because I have Collector follow up. That might just be bad though. Like right now, Collector Roof and Chalice kind of do the same thing. I think what I'm gonna do is bottom Taiga in case I get wastelanded. Oh god, they have are they mulliganing or do they have Chancellor? Okay, so new plan is we're super doomed. We're gonna play Chalice on 0, and we're gonna play it off of Ancient Tomb, I guess. The problem is now Chalice and Collector Roof overlap, and our Trinisphere won't be good against our opponent. So this is gonna be quite a challenging game. We're gonna have to hope to draw like one of the initiative creatures probably. This challenge is quite good against our opponent. The problem is like there are Ancient Tomb decks still, so they can just go Plains Ancient Tomb Moyplume Adventurer. I think we are a little unfavored pre-board here, as our deck is pretty heavily geared to beat other decks in the format. Post-board, we get Fury. Maybe not. Like, we just kept a hand that was, like, pretty strong anti-combo, anti-artifact hand, and our opponent is going to be on creatures, which is, like, I mean, like, another big reason to play the initiative is because you are, attacking from an axis that people are not really prepared for. People are more prepared now, for what it's worth, but I think I want to hold this cavern because I want to be able to, like, play a giant warrior or caves or a magus or something. Because I don't think Collector Roof is quite useful when I have a chalice already. My opponent, if they don't have an ancient tomb, we can like maybe make them put them farther behind with a Trinisphere. Oh, they have a wasteland. Okay, sure. Slow us down. We don't want to draw any of our own Moxen, but Spirit Guides are fine, and big payoff spells are good. And even lands are all lands are acceptable as well, because we could definitely get double wastelanded and get stuck here. Opponent's playing a little. Come on, we can do it. We can do it. All right. Mountain. So I don't see a convincing reason not to play this out. See what opponent has. I assume they should play like Plains or any one cost they have and sandbag any Ancient Tombs, I would think. Cavern, of course. Because this way they have human. Maybe they actually have like Lauren for this. In that, if my opponent were to go, yeah, I think it's still going to be correct for us to drop Trinisphere here. If they go like Lauren, like Ancient Tomb Lauren, kill Trinisphere, it's okay. If they go Ancient Tomb Lauren, kill Chalice, we can just play Oof. And if they don't have an Ancient Tomb at all, then they can't play anything. So now we have all the mana to play any spell in our deck. So unless we get Wastelanded, obviously. But we are in a good spot if next turn we top deck a 4-drop is really what we're looking for. If we can like draw a Minsc and Boo, that would be great. Any of our initiative creatures are also great draws. Our Magus is probably pretty good as well. No, now they have a plane, so the Magus is no longer good. But the good news here is they don't have a 3-drop to play. Not a good draw from our side. No more lands. Get a Collector Roof in play. But Collector Roof's not very good here. All right, it's time for third land plus 3-drop. All of the 3-drops are bad for us here. Oh, no third land. Unlucky. All right, 4 drops here. Yes, this game looks like it could be good for us now. We have the initiative. Let's grab an additional. I think this will be an additional forest. All right, I can't imagine that the initiative here doesn't triumph. Even if they are to go like land White Plume, maybe if they went Ancient Tomb Seasoned Dungeoneer, that might be good enough, but we don't actually have good draws coming, but they did miss on lands. Okay, awesome. That's a really, I think, kind of lucky because we kept a very anti-combo hand and we did not end up on a place that would be good. I think all of our creatures here look good. Chalice on the draw, bad. Trinsphere on the draw, bad. Even on the play, not amazing. Collector Roof on the draw, bad. Vigor on the draw, bad. So we're gonna have to find. I think I would rather have Collector Oofs than Vigors. And yeah, so Furies and Endurances in, Vigors and restricted artifacts out, and let's battle. This could be very challenging on the draw, but we have a couple more tools now, which is nice. This hand's great, has a Lotus, so snapping this one off. This deck feels powerful. It also feels like we need to be on the play. Something I wonder about is the absence of Mindbreak traps. Maybe having 4 Pyroblasts with Simian Spirit Guides are a reasonable substitute. But if you find that on the draw you're in trouble, Mindbreak traps seem like an easy fix or an easy addition. But 4 Fury, 7 Graveyard, 4 Pyro is pretty nice and pretty clean. So right now, I think the answer is maybe Under Mountain for caves. And then I think I'd like to do. I think 3 Once Upon a Time is kind of bad. But so maybe the answer is like Under Mountain for caves, Under Mountain for Minsc, and Under Mountain for Once Upon a Time, and just play no Under Mountains. In which case, you probably still want 2 forests. I don't know. The Undermountain is not bad by any means. I just don't know if it's what we want to be doing. My opponent kept a 7-card hand with no. Oh, they do have a Chancellor here. Okay. So we can theoretically run our Once Upon a Time into a Chancellor if we'd like. No reason to do this now, though. So, I guess there is a reason to do it now. It's if our opponent plays a turn 1 Archon. Not that we can actually play a spell on our turn versus a turn 1 Archon anyways, but all right, this looks like a Thalia, so that'll be another reason to do it now. I'm gonna just definitely get my Once Upon a Time countered here. And then we actually we have enough to play Caves on turn 1, which has got to be sick. Definitely what we want to be doing. Ancient Tomb, Black Lotus, Caves. And we'll go get a. I think we're going to get a basic forest because we have Taiga Cavern and we have a Magus. So we'll get a basic forest. So my opponent kind of needs to have like Solitude here. Like, I mean, obviously this play is weak to Solitude, right? But I don't think I don't think any of my other plays are quite as strong as this is. It's unfortunate they have Chrome Mox because that will give them a white source, even if we have a Magus. Maybe that's a convincing reason to keep in more Collector Oofs. I guess I could be convinced that that's a reason. I don't know what Collector Oofs here would be better than, but turning off their Chrome Mox and then Magusing them might be good. It doesn't stop Solitude though, so I'm not really into that. I would love to draw Fury. I think Fury and Solitude seem like the 2 most impactful cards here in this matchup. Of course, Seasoned Engineer is nuts as well. So we'll have to see what opponent has to do here. They also have the ability to Wasteland us, but Wasteland looks quite bad unless they have Solitude. If they have Solitude Wasteland, then they can kill this, attack, take the initiative, put me behind. Probably game over from the minute that happens. If they don't, what's their next best? Like, even playing a White Plume here is not bad. Steal the initiative, play a blocker. It actually blocks this Chaos Adventure because I won't have the ability to forge. Let's see what they have. Okay, I guess they could have Swords to Plowshare as well. That's also quite good. Yeah, they have Swords to Plowshare, steal the initiative, play a Plains. Pretty good, pretty good. Yeah, I mean, that's quite strong. Like I said, I don't think any other play from my side makes sense. There is some upside to going Fable, but I think it's just a lot worse. They're just going to play Emiria. Unfortunately, this Fable or Magus, none of these things really stop my opponent from doing stuff. So I'm just going to play a Fable. Oh my god, I can't play a Fable. I could play a Fable. I am going to play a Fable with the Selfish Spirit Guide. I think it's better turn some of these cards into actual things that are going to help us. We might just not be able to play here. Swords was quite strong. Swords is another reason to maybe run Mental Misstep. Yeah, I don't really want to run Mental Misstep in this deck, but maybe I'm just supposed to. I can't block that thing. It's huge. All right, a Seasoned Dungeoneer here is the worst outcome. This looks like it's going to be a Anointed Peacekeeper. That's not great either for us, but we can draw Fury. Fury and attack, steal the initiative. Looks quite good here. I think we're just like straight up getting rid of this Magus as it just does not look good on this board. They named Fury off of a Peacekeeper. Reasonable. Another Caves. Wow. So I am just going to use this and get rid of Magus Cavern. And I did draw Fury as well. Okay. So if I cast Fury for 2 and kill Peacekeeper, is that good? It doesn't seem good. Instead, I can just Caves and then forge onto Caves, which seems better. Okay. The initiative. The battle between the initiatives. So if we can hit a red source next turn and attack, we can hardcast a Fury for 7. All right. Planes we knew about. Attackers are coming in. Not willing to throw anything away. Am I willing to goad? I don't think so. I think I just have to be trapping here to keep this game in a reasonable spot. I kind of like the idea of trap into attack all. Well, it depends on what we draw, I guess. We actually are flipping our Fable here with a Fury. Could be interesting. But obviously I don't have haste on this. If they double block, it's super good for me. Double Spirit Guide. So now I can actually just play it, right? No, I have to attack first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, I don't have double red. I have to attack first. Okay, I'm just going to attack all. Let's see what we hit. We hit Cavern. It's kind of nice. I mean, they might double block here. I guess at that point, my Fury's kind of shit. But no, this makes sense. Cavern. Elemental. Red, this, that, cast. Then I think it's just this. Because it's a first striker. And then if they don't kill this, I get to copy it. And if they don't kill this, I get to copy it. This game is toast. We're the better initiative deck. Come at me. I guess they played no Seasoned Engineer, so that helped a lot. Seasoned Engineer is a pain in the butt. Kiki Jiki Reflection Fury Caves. Okay, all right, okay. 4-0, easy, not close. All right, all right. Another off-stream trophy opportunity here. It kind of feels like playing not on stream is cheating at this point. It's just like so much easier. But we didn't win the die roll here, and we have determined that the die roll is quite important in this deck. So who knows if this is going to be enough to get us there. This hand obviously does not get us there. Even Once Upon a Timing into a Spirit Guide does not do the trick. So let's mulligan. This hand has a Vigor, has fast mana, has Once Upon a Time. I like this hand much more. Doesn't technically cast much right away, but on the draw with the Once Upon a Time, I like this hand. This hand looks good. Black Lotus could be a problem. Depends on what they cast off it. We did lose a game earlier today to a Boo. Oh my god. Yeah. All right. It wouldn't be a league if I didn't get turn one killed by Doomsday, right? Bruh. How is this real life? They didn't crack their Tarn first, which means they have to put a island in the pile. Which is interesting. Man. Doomsday is not a great matchup for me on the draw here. If my opponent ends up passing the turn, we do have the opportunity to do something like Once Upon a Time into a green source and play a Collector Roof to stop a Black Lotus, which might be possible to possibly win the game, depending on if my opponent has like multiple lands in hand, puts multiple lands in their pile, things like that. Obviously, all of this is basically up to my opponent to play correctly. A famous saying is that the only bad Doomsday matchup is the pilot. So here they draw their Ancestral, they fetch for an island, and they Ancestral down. I guess technically... Oh, they don't have an island in their deck. You should fetch before casting Doomsday. Okay, all right, okay. We will absolutely take those because it's not getting better. Well, I guess it technically is getting better, but we're gonna get rid of a series of Vigors and Under Mountains, and I think we'll keep everything else because I do think Collector is fine. I think this is what we're gonna do. This is how I boarded in game the other time. Oh no, we didn't know our opponent was on Doomsday, right? I still think Chalice is probably fine, and these are both probably fine. Okay, so we got a free game, and now we have some cards. Cool. All right, this is a keeper. We got Ancient Tomb, turn 1 Trinisphere. We also have Endurance as a way to buy some time. Probe. All right. Opponent also didn't know what deck we were, which is a pretty big upside. All right, not a good draw, obviously. Hopefully we can get a 3-ball in. I suspect not. 3-ball resolves. I think we're in an okay spot, though. No shot, no shot. All right, Oracle down, Force down, your go. They know we have an Endurance. They know we have an Endurance. Okay. So Endurance and Legacy seems like it's quite good against Doomsday. Endurance and Vintage usually just doesn't get the job done due to the high velocity draw spells involved. Things like Gush and Ancestral tend to just make it so your Endurancing doesn't really matter. But I could definitely trip up a inexperienced pilot. So we'll see if our opponent can correctly play around at Endurance. We've got a top bottom, a Black Lotus, a Doomsday. No, another Preordain. Okay. This Preordain is bottom bottom, so I assume there's no Doomsday coming, right? There is a Doomsday coming. Okay. So my best draw has got to be Pyroblast, Collector Oof, because it looks like they're going to put the Black Lotus in the pile, which is interesting. I feel like you can probably get away with, like, Gush, maybe? Hard to say. Our best draws are Magus of the Moon. Maybe Black Lotus plays around Magus of the Moon. We actually can play Oof or Magus off of Cavern, which is quite powerful as well. Definitely something to consider. If I find an Elvish Spirit Guide, I have like a hard cast Endurance as well. All right, so we have options, and we'll have to see if our opponent played around their pile with Endurance here. We do draw Pyroblast, which might throw them off, so they didn't know about Taiga, and they don't know about Pyroblast. So now I have an Endurance and a Pyroblast. Let's see how that goes for us. Yeah, definitely blasting that. Wow, they have Mental Misstep. They have Flusterstorm. I guess they didn't know what deck we were on, so that makes some sense. Do we want to Endurance now? The upside of Endurancing now is that we shuffle their deck. Wait, do we shuffle their deck? No, that's not how this works. Justin, do you know what the card Endurance does? We just have to cast this in response to an Oracle, right? Put the target puts all the cards from their graveyard. Well, we can put a Fluster and a Doomsday on the bottom before they draw, which puts them at 3 cards in the library. So I think we should actually do it now, right? Because if I let them draw, they draw 3 cards with 1 card in hand. One of them is Black Lotus, one of them is Thassa's Oracle, and the other one should be Force of Will, blue card. But it might not be. It's possible. Let's see if they did it right. I think it's fine to wait here and make them do it right. So their last card should be Street Wraith. So them Street Wraithing here doesn't make sense, right? Because unless the Oracle is their last card. I'm trying to figure out, like, it's weird because what we're doing is not playing based on what our opponent should have done, but based on what our opponent could have done and just trying to leverage that. Because if my opponent has done it correctly, I didn't really I don't think I have an opportunity to actually do something, but here, if I put these cards back on the bottom in a random order, I guess if my opponent already has Force in their hand, we're beat anyways. And if they have Force as the last card, we can beat them by Endurancing. So let's just do that. I mean, so the problem here is that this turns off a bunch of our top decks, right? Yeah. So the problem with this line is we lose a bunch of our top. Oh, they had a Force in their opener. Okay, so they have Force Dispute. Okay, so then this draws them into Oracle and they kill me. So I could have responded to Ancestral. It just didn't feel winning. But it would have put Doomsday Fluster on the bottom. and they would have had exactly 2 cards left in library and 1 anyways. Okay, so they've just built a good pile, I think it looks like. Because I think if I had done it at any point in the times, if I had done it in response to Ancestral, they still have 2 cards left and they kill me. If I do it in response to anything else here, I still lose. So, yeah, not bad, not bad. Good pile. Make up for that game 1, right? Here, we just resubmit. Okay. On the play, game 3, Doomsday. Can our opponent 3-0 us? Oof, yeah, okay. Keep. His hand is a bit on the nasty side of things. Kind of want to beta force with this Black Lotus. They have to kind of force this because of Cavern, and that actually lets us go Emerald, Chalice. Yeah. I'm just gonna Chalice on 0. I could theoretically have Chalice on 1 there. I think this Chalice on 0 is better though. Maybe it's not. I don't know. I think putting this Fable in play is quite good. So I think Chalice on 1 is better, but I think putting Fable in play is more important, as it lets us turn these next 2 cards into something good. And we can actually play any 2-3 drop we draw as well. So this also shuts off a lot of powerful draws from them. So I think this makes the most sense. I like the way I played this out with the bait on the Black Lotus into a Fable with Chalice. And then hopefully what we do is we turn 2 cards into like a Collector Roof, or a Magus is obviously nice. Yeah, I'm definitely just going to discard both of these. Try to find something good. Magus, got him. Yeah, I mean, this might be game winning. Resolving this is game winning, probably. They have to have second force. No second force. All right. I mean, I think we're cruising. Quite possibly on our way to a 5-0 with this red-green initiative deck. Yep, Mountain. We're flipping our Fable. That's it. They're off it. That's another one. Another trophy. Oh, man. Honestly, just playing off stream is basically... I know, there's always a lot of memes and there's a lot of conversation on, Twitter and Reddit and things about, what does streaming do? Does streaming make you better? Does streaming make you worse? Is it cheating? Like, you're going to get lines from chat. And all I can tell you from my side here is that I play somewhere like around 5, maybe even 10 times worse when I'm on stream and live interacting with chat. It is so much harder than playing off stream. And even when I'm here just talking to no one, this is probably good for me, as it lets me, talk through my lines, that kind of thing. It might still be worse. I'm not sure if like talking aloud to no one is better or worse than playing, I guess I could theoretically be talking through my lines off stream as well. But there is like obviously some amount of, cognizant mental going into like, I need to make this entertaining. I need to make this instructive. So there's that. But this kind of video that we've made now, this is probably my 3rd video. It'll be the 3rd one you see from this series of off-stream videos, and this is the 2nd trophy already from those videos. It's pretty easy. We did get a little lucky in this league. We faced some good matchups where our deck seemed to shine. We won a couple die rolls, and our opponent did not fetch before Doomsdaying. That 3rd matchup would have been quite difficult. If we lose the game on the draw, we probably have to win. We can probably win the game on the play. Then we have to win on the draw against Doomsday, and that definitely gets very challenging. So, but all in all, this deck was sweet. This deck was strong. This deck was powerful. I still think the answer here is going to be cut under Mountain and play Caves, Boo, and I actually think Once Upon a Time, because Once Upon a Time is so much better in this deck because it actually finds all 8 spirit guides. Most of the time, Once Upon a Time does not find fast mana, but in this deck, Once Upon a Time does find fast mana. So the one thing that this is leaving out is a Mental Misstep. What I might do is say play Mental Misstep in the board instead of Endurance, and then you can bring it in. That way you don't play it against something like Shops or something like that. All right, here we go. That's it. 5-0. Thanks for watching. More vintage content every Monday, Wednesday, Friday on this channel. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out. I'll see you then.